The 1970s burst onto the scene with a kaleidoscope of pop culture, from the iconic TV series The Brady Bunch, with its catchy theme song and wholesome family hijinks, to the adrenaline-fueled exploits of daredevil Evel Knievel. The decade was a treasure trove of memorable moments and larger-than-life personalities. The rise of CB radios, from a niche hobby to a mainstream craze, with their distinctive slang and colorful handles, CB radios became a cultural touchstone, connecting truckers, travelers, and everyday folks in a web of communication. Phrases like 10-4 and Roger that entered the lexicon as CB culture permeated everything from movies to music to advertising. Macrame emerged as a popular craft trend, weaving its way into the homes of DIY enthusiasts. Plant hangers, wall hangings, and macrame offered a creative outlet for expressing individual style and flair. The era also saw a surge in colorful fashion trends, with avocado green, banana yellow, and neon orange reigning supreme as the colors du jour. Rounded ottoman seats and wood-paneled cars became the aesthetic, while lunchboxes adorned with images of superheroes and cartoon characters became coveted accessories for schoolchildren everywhere. In the midst of it all, the bicentennial year of 1976 brought a sense of patriotic pride and celebration to the nation, as Americans commemorated 200 years of independence with fireworks, parades, and festivities. The 1970s witnessed a wave of technological advancements that revolutionized daily life and paved the way for the digital age. It's essential to note the humble beginnings and the stark contrast in technology that existed during this time. In households across the nation, televisions were a stable source of entertainment, but they lacked the convenience of remote controls and had 3 channels which would sign off at night. Viewers had to physically get up and manually adjust the knobs to change the channels or adjust the volume. Antennas adorned rooftops, and the quality of reception often depended on their positioning or the addition of aluminum foil for better signal reception. Against this backdrop of simplicity, significant innovations began to emerge. One of the most notable developments of the decade was the proliferation of personal computers, marking the beginning of a computing revolution that would transform how we work, communicate, and interact with the world. Companies like Apple and Microsoft laid the groundwork for the digital age, introducing groundbreaking technologies that would shape the future of technology. Simultaneously, the space race reached new heights with the launch of the Apollo program, culminating in the historic Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. As Neil Armstrong took his famous first steps on the lunar surface, the world watched in awe, ushering in a new era of space exploration and scientific discovery. Back on Earth, innovations in telecommunications revolutionized the way we communicate. The introduction of fiber optic cables and digital switching systems laid the groundwork for the global communications network we rely on today. In the realm of entertainment, the 70s saw the birth of video games, with the release of iconic titles like Pong and Space Invaders, paving the way for the multi-billion-dollar gaming industry that exists today. Meanwhile, advancements in audio technology led to the development of cassette tapes and Walkmans, giving music lovers newfound freedom to take their favorite tunes on the go. Amidst the backdrop of political and technological upheaval, the 70s bore witness to a vibrant tapestry of social movements and cultural awakening that reshaped the fabric of society. From the fight for civil rights to the quest for gender equality, the decade was a crucible of activism and change. The civil rights movement, which had gained momentum in the preceding decades, reached a critical juncture in the 1970s as marginalized communities continued their struggle for equality and justice. Key milestones included the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1975, which aimed to protect voting rights for minorities, and the ongoing efforts to combat racial discrimination in housing, employment, and education. Similarly, the women's liberation movement gained traction, fueled by a wave of feminist activism that sought to challenge patriarchal norms and empower women to assert their rights and autonomy. Individual figures like Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan emerged as leading voices in the fight for gender equality, advocating for reproductive rights, equal pay, and an end to gender-based discrimination. In addition to these mainstream movements, the 70s also saw the rise of countercultural movements that sought to challenge the status quo and push boundaries in art, music, and lifestyle, such as the hippie movement, with its emphasis on peace, love, and communal living. The 1970s were a time of carefree childhood adventures and tight-knit community connections, as children roamed the streets and schools buzzed with activity. The neighborhood was a lively playground, with streets and sidewalks providing endless fun for children, from impromptu games of tag and hide and seek to afternoons spent riding bikes and skateboarding. The neighborhood was a vibrant hub of activity where friendships were forged and memories were made. Schools played a central role in the lives of children, serving not only as places of learning, but also as vibrant hubs of social interaction. Bustling hallways filled with chatter and laughter set the stage for spirited games of kickball and tetherball on the playground, where children challenged each other. The playgrounds themselves were emblematic of the era, with their hardcore metallic structures that would get burning hot in the sun, and sometimes were even the reason for severe injuries. Jungle gyms and monkey bars, climbing, swinging, and sliding were how children tested their limits and conquered their fears back in the day. Gathering at the local park for picnics and playdates, or organizing backyard barbecues and block parties, offered a sense of community. Neighbors came together to celebrate milestones, lend a helping hand, and share in each other's joys and sorrows, fostering a sense of belonging and camaraderie that was integral to the fabric of the neighborhood. Hitchhiking was a common sight, as children and teenagers hitched rides with friends or even strangers to get around town or explore new places. Stranger danger didn't exist back then. Today, it's something looked down upon, and few would even consider stopping. For many kids, Saturday morning cartoons were a cherished tradition, a weekly ritual that brought joy and laughter into their homes. From classic animated series like Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones, to superhero adventures like Super Friends and Spider-Man, the airwaves were alive with colorful characters, and if you missed one, you'd have to patiently wait for next week. Collecting toys was a beloved pastime, as kids amassed a treasure trove of action figures, dolls, and games that sparked their imagination and fueled their creativity. From iconic toys like Barbie dolls and G.I. Joe action figures, to board games like Monopoly and Clue, the 70s were a golden age of playthings. One of the most iconic features of the 1970s home decor was the use of bold and earthy colors that infused living spaces with warmth and personality. Avocado green, mustard yellow, burnt orange, and harvest gold were popular choices for everything from kitchen appliances to upholstery, adding a pop of retro flair to interiors. Wood paneling also became a ubiquitous feature of 1970s homes, adorning walls and ceilings with warm, earthy tones that evoked a sense of coziness and comfort. Whether it was genuine wood paneling or faux wood wallpaper, the look was quintessentially 70s and added a touch of rustic charm to interiors. Cars also reflected the vibrant spirit of the era, with colorful interiors and sleek designs. Vibrant vinyl seats, wood paneling on Volkswagen, and chrome accents. Cars of the 70s were a reflection of the era's love for bold colors and retro aesthetics. The 70s were a melting pot of musical innovation and dance crazes. Disco music emerged as the dominant force in the late 70s, with its infectious beats and glamorous style enchanting people across the globe. Iconic artists like Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, and Gloria Gaynor dominated the charts, with hits like Stayin' Alive, Night Fever, and I Will Survive. Disco clubs became the hottest destinations, with their glittering disco balls and flashy dance moves, offering an escape from the troubles of the outside world. Meanwhile, punk rock exploded onto the scene with its raw energy and DIY ethos, challenging the status quo and giving voice to the frustrations of disaffected youth. The Ramones and The Clash injected a fierce urgency into the music scene, with their rebellious anthems and anti-establishment attitude, inspiring a new generation of musicians and fans. Punk fashion, characterized by ripped clothing, safety pins, and spiked hair, became a symbol of rebellion and nonconformity, embodying the spirit of the era. The 70s also saw the rise of other influential music genres, including funk, soul, and glam rock. Artists like James Brown, Stevie Wonder, and David Bowie pushed the boundaries of musical expression, blending genres and pushing the limits of creativity. Funky bass lines, soulful vocals, and glittering costumes filled the airwaves, offering audiences a diverse array of sounds and styles to groove to. The hustle, the bump, and the electric slide became synonymous with the disco era, with dancers strutting their stuff and showing off their best moves under the flashing lights. The 70s were indeed a time of innovation and forward-thinking spirit that resonates even today. Check out the next video. You're sure to love it.